Before I became a priest, I was a lawyer. And my favorite law firm was the last law firm I worked for. And so I remember it was my first day. I went up to the senior lawyer, and I had this assignment, and I wanted to make sure I did it right, So I went to him, and I just asked him, how do you want me to do this? And I had a certain expectation. I thought he would say to me, look, I want you to do it in this particular way, basically how I do it. But he surprised me. He said, you know what, you're a smart guy, you've done this before. Just do it however you want to do it. And if I have comments, I'll make comments, but we'll see what you got. Okay. So I did it, and I brought it back to him. He had a few comments, but not that much. And also I got the sense that he changed his own process based on how I solved the problem. Even though I was a junior lawyer and he was a senior lawyer, right? He was looking at my work and saying, well, look, just because you're approaching the issue and the problem in a different way, doesn't mean it's wrong. And in fact, it's very important for me to see how I can benefit from your new way of approaching the issue, your particular way of solving the problem. It's not just doing you a favor, it's doing me a favor. It's doing the firm a favor. I always remember that. He was the best boss I ever had. I carried that with me forward when I became pastor of my own parish in Oshawa. So in Oshawa, I was looking for someone to fill a very important position, and I remember it was a really long interview process. So I wanted someone who could think independently within a team concept. You think that'd be easy to find, but actually it's quite difficult. And I remember a friend of mine coming to me and saying, Father, I think you gotta set the bar way lower. People are used to being robots. They're used to having the employer say, look, this is what I want you to do in this particular way, and no room for freedom or flexibility. So I think you just gotta settle for that. To which I was like, no. I'm not gonna create a structure which encourages people to be robots. I'm not gonna create an environment which encourages people to be less than free. Because there's a lot at stake here. It's not just my own personal way of managing the parish, right? We're teaching people how to be human, how to be free. We're teaching people what it means to live in the context of authentic Christian communities. So we're not gonna settle. And eventually we found someone and it was great, But hopefully you see the point. There is right and wrong, true and false. There is a time and place to have common goals, common mission, common purpose. That's the whole dynamic of team, right? But within that space, there's meant to be flexibility, freedom, respect for the dignity of the human person, room for all sorts of legitimate forms of diversity. And here's the point. It's not just good for other people. It's good for us. It's good for you. It's good for the community. It's good for the church. And it's good for the world.